Here's another thing I've been thinking about. A lot of people, I think, have the tendency to believe that the highest form of morality or the highest form of consciousness is devoid of the capacity to commit violence or do any harm to anything. I don't know if that is necessarily true, even outside of the biblical framework. Would you say that to a mother who's defending her baby from an evil attacker and she does whatever she has to do to defend that child? Would it be the highest form of morality for her to not do anything and just let it happen because she's nonviolent and she is a high moral person? Or would it be the highest moral order to not only just defend, but even attack and neutralize the threat to make sure that her baby is safe? That act of violence will be a higher moral act in most people's perspective than sitting back and doing nothing because she's like, I don't do violence. I'm just too elevated in morality to, even when I see wrong being done, to not do anything about it. See, the God of the Bible does something about wrongdoing. See, if mold had a consciousness and mold was growing in your home and you tried your best, you tried to clean the spots where you saw it and you went to go examine it, a lot how they describe in the Old Testament how they were supposed to examine mold and then come back and then do a trial run to see how bad the mold was. But then at a certain point, if the mold was really, really bad, after you tried to clean it and there was nothing you could do about it, they would burn the entire home. And you could say that's violence, but it's actually cleanliness because mold contaminates. It's a sickness and it can cause everybody else to be sick. But the mold itself, if it had a consciousness, could say, this is violence. You're literally burning me alive. Like, why would you do something like this? We're just trying to grow and spread. See, I actually think that if God was to not do anything about everything that happens, because we have freedom of choice, so that means that we have the capacity to do bad things and cause suffering. And so if that's the case, there's going to be bad things that happen. And if the God that has the highest moral order, the highest moral consciousness, saw all this freedom of choice being done and never made a promise to do anything about it, even if it meant the destruction of the very things that are causing the suffering, I would say that's not a highly moral being to begin with. Wrath and destruction is not necessarily a sign that something isn't deeply loving and the most loving thing that there could be, because that mother deeply loves her child who attacks and may even unalive the person that's trying to harm her child. That is coming from a deep place of love, not lack of love. Remember that.